There are very few players that I look at and say, this is a can't miss bounce back. There's just no way I can't see this man winning leagues almost single-handedly in 2026.
You're watching the Tight End Show.
There's a lot of people that are going to say, Smitty, but the Raiders suck and the Raiders offensive line, they've got no quarterback. Like, let's just knock these off one at a time. Number one, the Raiders have the number one overall pick if you've been living under a rock for so many, weeks. They have the number one overall pick, and they're taking this cat, Fernando Mendoza. We call him Moondoza. We call him Fernastronaut. And he's here to stay. So I sit in front of you right now, as many of you judge the Raiders for years past, specifically last year, and say, there's no quarterback. The offensive line sucks. This is the Raiders. Everything is turning around 180 degrees immediately. And it all starts with the foundation. They built this thing on faulty, cracked foundation. That's why none of it worked. It came crashing down. They've scraped the floor. They put down the solid foundation layer. And now they're building this house the right way. This man, Brock Bowers, thrived in his first year. Let's kick it off with his stats from last year. 64 receptions, 680, and 7 touchdowns. This is all while being extremely injured all year, missing grips of games. You have this kid dropping 17 play games, 112, 1194, and 5 during his rookie season. With a much worse situation all around, he had 7 touchdowns. He had an increase of 2 touchdowns. I think that the numbers you see at the top, the 1194, the 112 receptions, easily could replicate those numbers in 2026. Easily. In fact, let's just call it a straight 111.50. And the kicker is going to be, this man is going to live in the end zone. This will be the year that the script got flipped, where people say, okay, is he a 5 to 7 touchdown guy like he was in his first 2 seasons? When you say, oh, Smitty, he's never had a 10 touchdown season. He's never had Fernando Mendoza, the Moondoza, the Fernastronaut. He's never had a quarterback in the NFL yet. He's had nothing but horrible quarterback play, horrible offensive line play. In his rookie year, at least they were down and throwing the ball enough that he got the volume. Now they've got Ashton Jeanty to stretch the field. When they have a quarterback that can have a quick release and back the defense up, not to mention the offensive line alone will be improved 50% from that move alone. Just having the quick release passer will stretch the defense out. Then when he starts connecting with Bowers and other wide receivers, and who knows who the hell they bring in, they could bring in a big name free agent. They could draft a nice, young, exciting wide receiver. They could bring in Wan'Dale Robinson. They could bring a lot of players into this wide receiver room. The moment they start stretching the field even a little bit, that offensive line production goes up. Once the offensive line production goes up, guess who starts having room to wiggle and become a monster on the ground? Yeah, you heard me. This top 10... No. That's disrespectful. This top 1 to 5 running back is what Ashton Jeanty's capable of. If you think Jeanty can't be a top 5 running back in this National Football League, you don't know what in the hell you're talking about. This is a top 1 to 5 running back in the National Football League. He just can't do it till he has room to run. It's all cascading. Once Mendoza fixes little things here and there and everything gets better, it all starts cascading, and Brock Bowers starts stretching the field. I would be absolutely floored if he didn't have 10-plus touchdowns in 2026. This would be the bare minimum amount of flair that you wear on your lapel. If you're working at Applebee's or in Office Space, you would be wearing the bare minimum that says 100, 1150, and 10 touchdowns. This guy is capable of 14 plus touchdowns through the air. And you can say whatever you want. We'll put it back at 10 so people don't have to change their drawers. We'll just go 10 plus. This is what I expect. This is my bare minimum. And the last thing I'll say is that if this guy, this cat, Brock Bowers, gets drafted in round 3 or 4, you're absolutely crushing your league and baking in every ounce of risk you can find. If he goes at 3.5, you're winning a league. If he goes at 3.12, you're winning a league. I mean, you got to close on the other selections. You got to land other things. But if you do land them, this wins you a league. 4, I don't even know if he could fall to 4. We'll see. Certainly possible. We don't know where his ADP is going to be. We have no clue yet. It could be 4.1. It could be 3.5. It could be 3.1. Either way, he still wins the league here. Let me tell you something. Bring it in close. Don't tell anybody, but I'd still draft him at 2.5 if I have to, but I don't have to. I don't. But this is what he's easily worth. And the earlier you draft, the better. If you're drafting on Underdog, promo code Smitty, play 5, get 75. They'll match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. Code Smitty, links in the description. But if you end up drafting early, like the night after the Super Bowl, the big board, I think, launches. From that point until draft day, really, when Mendoza gets selected and everybody starts starting to believe in the workouts and all that, start lifting up Fernando Mendoza's value. His value will increase, but for right now, it stays in this very, very amazing third round, maybe fourth round territory. But let's just say, for whatever reason, worst case scenario, he's going to 2.11. Let's just say it. He's not going to, but let's just pretend. What happens if you take him in round 2? You're weak at other positions if you go early tight end shopping, not early on. The earlier you draft, the easier it is to deploy early tight end strategies. I always tell people, take your early tight end approaches early in the season, because as you get deeper into June, July, August, September, especially August and September, all your sleepers are no longer really available. People catch on, and so you can't fill the holes that drafting early tight end can leave you. You end up drafting early tight end in February, March, April, and you say to yourself, God, it doesn't feel like I'm missing a beat at my other positions. I feel like a well-rounded team. I feel like the Brock Bowers team shouldn't exist. I should have a hole somewhere because I went early tight end and I didn't fill in a running back. Or it feels absolutely like you aren't missing a beat, and until your sleepers start rising up and everybody that you're stealing away in these rounds become players here. And then you start feeling like it dries up here in August and September. The 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th rounds feel a lot lighter than they used to. That's when you don't want to go early tight end shopping later in the year. So deploy that strategy early. Guys, there is no better call here. There's no bigger upside play in what we expect to be third round value. Do what you want. Brock Bowers wins leagues in 2026. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, live whenever big news breaks, and live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. See you on the next show.
Hey, are you currently sitting at home and wondering, why am I such a loser? Why do I not know how to get chicks? Well, there is a solution. Draft Ashton Genty in your upcoming fantasy football drafts, and you'll immediately start growing hair on your chest. Those little of yours will finally drop, and even though you still live in your mom's basement, you're going to immediately start getting hot chicks, all because you drafted Ashton Genty. Now, do you want to be this guy? Hi, I'm worried William, and my mommy just warmed me up a hot pocket, and I've never even talked to a hot chick. Or this guy. Hey, I'm Dom, and I drive fast cars, get hot chicks, and draft Ashton Genty double fist style with 2 cell phones at the same time. Why do I have 2 cell phones? One for looking up Ashton Genty's stats all day, the other is for getting chicks. Alright, put down the Hot Pocket Petrified Pita and start smashing Genty ADP, and watch less Thundercats reruns and more of the Fantasy Football Show with Smitty, you bozo.